On the Fringe with Dan RadioStyle. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. We have major stuff moving forward. Again, not arrested yet. I'm not trying to clickbait you. Schiff has not been arrested yet, but there is huge indications that he might very well be one of the people coming up. We've got an awesome slide on him. Also, of course, Comey moving forward. We've got some more additional information around him. A lot going on right now in the world, especially. And I will say we are unquestionably starting to separate. We are starting, this is going to be a very, very challenging next couple months. That's all I know. That's all I know right now. We've got a lot of stuff that's in the works. We've got people that are literally losing their minds, and we've got people that I think are going off into left field on all sorts of crazy stuff and just nowhere near reality anymore. It's something major is about to break, and yeah, exactly how this plays out is going to be interesting. So be careful, be cautious, try to be as smart as you can, because it's going to be an interesting time coming up here. Let's get the ball rolling, and I got a lot to talk about, a lot to share. Got some good stuff here to start with. First off, these, what is it, Waymo? Those self-driving cars? Yeah, it ended up on a golf course. And I'm going to say, I think anybody that trusts self-driving technology fully is a little crazy, a little bit crazy. Like I couldn't imagine like having a Tesla and just letting it drive and not paying attention to what's going on at all. Like I can't imagine. That's a level of trust I'm not ready for. If you wanted to see somebody kind of get their comeuppance, it's pretty funny. We had a Karen that got pissed off at ICE and wanted to yell at them and let them know what they were doing was wrong. She forgot to put her car in park, and it rolled into the water. Yeah, she was not able to save her car.
Well, that sucks.
Sure does. Whoops. That was extra smart. So yeah, the Karen just did not realize that she didn't put the parking brake on. She went to get out of her car to yell at the officers, started heading towards them. Car just rolls right into the water, and by the time she realized it, it was too late. Interestingly, she probably almost could have saved it, maybe? I don't know. Nah, maybe not. Her engine's in the water pretty far. I don't know if she'd be able to actually start it at this point, so whatever. That's always fun when people are silly. Tropical weather in the Atlantic is slamming the Caribbean. They are expecting this storm. It's a Category 4 now, the Umberto. So they are expecting that one to cruise up. We do have another storm that's sort of forming just south of it, underneath it, and there's some discussions around what's going to happen with that one.
As we move into the tail end of the Atlantic hurricane season, forecasters are monitoring two big storms.
Tropical storm Imelda has formed near the Bahamas. It's expected to strengthen into a hurricane as it moves north.
Imelda has already brought heavy rain and flash flooding to parts of the Bahamas. Totals could reach up to 10 inches in isolated areas, prompting officials to warn residents in low-lying regions. The Weather Channel says Imelda may bring heavy rain to parts of the southeast, including Charleston, South Carolina, and Wilmington, North Carolina, as it curves eastward over the coming days.
Meanwhile, Hurricane Umberto, a Category 4 storm approaching Bermuda. Forecasters say it will generate dangerous surf and rip currents as it passes west off the island, which should happen tomorrow. Tropical storm watch is in effect, and the island's Emergency Measures Organization is closely monitoring this storm. Umberto is expected to weaken gradually, but it could still create hazardous surf and rip currents along the entire east coast.
Yeah, they are preparing on the coast for that. Certainly an emergency has been declared by, I believe it was South Carolina. So we're hopefully everything goes well. Hopefully it manages to go further north. Hillary Clinton, she said that white Christian men are dangerous just 4 days ago. And a lot of people are up in arms about this, of course. But, well, it turns out to be true also. Now, I'm not going to pull any punches, right? If we've got people on the right that are committing crimes, I'm going to call them out every damn day. This is not an issue of who is the most moral. Because, frankly, both sides of the fence are problematic right now. We've got extreme people on our side of the fence. They definitely have extreme people on their side of the fence. When you look at it from a standpoint of who does most crime, it is actually overwhelmingly people that are conservative. Overwhelmingly. When you go back like 20, 30 years, overwhelmingly it's conservative people commit most of the crime. It's true. It's just the facts. But lately, past 5 years, that number's changed significantly. In fact, just this year alone, the ratio has shifted completely to the opposite. So right now we're in a heated place. And right now we've got people on both sides of the fence that are pissed off. And we got to be careful. I mean, that's it. That's just it in a nutshell. Any place you could be, something tragic could happen. Now, this individual that went into the church, crashed his truck into the church, caught the church on fire, killed a bunch of people, pretty messed up. The dude was conservative. Anyway, here's some updated information.
A couple additional bodies that we've discovered in the church. So that makes our total victim count up to 4 victims. As I said before, there has already been the suspect who is deceased as well. So we have 5 deceased persons from this tragic incident. Again, our thoughts and prayers go out to the victims of this incident that could have been completely avoided.
Yeah, could have been completely avoided. And again, I'm not saying that, just we're not free from sin. I don't want to. I think we've gotten a little too heady, in a sense, over some of this stuff. Frankly, crime can't be committed. It's not okay. And there's a lot of people that are getting fired up on our side of the fence, so certainly concerned about that. The alleged Mission Church shooter, arsonist also, is ID'd as U.S. Marine veteran. So he had, again, I talked about the 2 flags in the truck. It was an American truck. I was already saying pretty strong chance this is someone on our side of the fence. It turns out to be very much the case. FBI suspects Michigan church shooter hated people of the Mormon faith. This is what the investigation is starting to show. So this is very, very sad that happened this way. Carolyn Levitt was talking about it. I guess we can play this real quick here.
The deadly shooting in Michigan. Press Secretary Caroline Levitt said on Fox News this morning that she spoke to FBI Director Kash Patel.
Based on my conversations with the FBI director, all they know right now is this was an individual who hated people of the Mormon faith. And they are trying to understand more about this, how premeditated it was, how much planning went into it, whether he left a note. All of those questions have yet to be answered, but certainly will be answered by the FBI.
Levitt said the FBI director told her that the suspect is a Marine Corps veteran and served in Iraq. He's a member of the local Michigan community, and his family is cooperating with the FBI. She said the agency is executing search warrants at the residence of the suspect and trying to get to the bottom of why he committed such an atrocity. The press secretary noted that the Trump administration is fully committed to investigating, prosecuting, and preventing such crimes. On the topic of the Israel-Hamas war, Levitt said a deal is very close.
The president has been working tirelessly on this effort to bring this war in Gaza and to bring this conflict in the Middle East to an end. He wants to see all of the hostages released. And Ambassador Witkoff, Special Envoy Witkoff, sent a very detailed 21-point plan to both sides, and the president expects both sides to agree. So there will be a
Levitt said President Trump would discuss the 21-point peace plan with the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu at the White House later today. Trump will also speak to leaders in Qatar who have served as intermediaries with the Hamas terror group. She noted the White House had direct and indirect conversations with Hamas as well. The press secretary noted that to reach a good deal, both sides have to give up a little bit, but Trump has said the conflict must end.
And we do have some more additional information on the agreements and this 21-point plan. Netanyahu coming into today, so a lot. We got some extra information around that. Now, the Iraq War veteran Thomas Sanford, he's been identified as the shooter for the this Michigan Latter-day Saints church shooting. So again, he served his country. He was into hunting. He was into all that. Again, sad. Sad. And I mean, I get from the Christian standpoint that people don't like Mormons because they find that their religion's a little strange, and I wouldn't disagree with you whatsoever. But it is never okay to kill people because you don't agree with what they believe. It's just not okay. It's not okay. We also had a shooting over a North Carolina bar. 3 were killed, 8 were wounded, and there is a suspect in custody. The gunman just opened fire, a small boat. He pulled up to, I guess, like a dock area and just started shooting into the crowd. 3 people killed, 8 wounded. The suspect's name is Nigel Edge. He was taken into custody on Saturday night. The gunman arrived by boat along the Cape Fear River, paused outside the venue, and unleashed gunfire into the crowd before fleeing via the intercoastal waterway. Cheyenne Ketchum, the city's public information officer, said U.S. Coast Guard personnel spotted someone matching the shooter's description unloading a boat at a public ramp in neighboring Oak Island. The individual was detained and later transferred to Southport law enforcement for questioning. Victims have not been named at this point. One thing we know about Nigel Edge, he is a former Marine and Purple Heart recipient who was arrested for the mass shooting at the restaurant in Southport, North Carolina, where 3 people were killed and 8 injured. Now, again, maybe we're going to find out he's not left-leaning or he's not right-leaning, but he fits our side of the fence to a T. This is 2 killings in an extraordinarily short period of time. Both of them ex-military, which to me has got MK Ultra all over it, but this is playing out horribly to the public. I think that's why some of these people are being triggered right now. I think that's why some of these people, I think they're trying to get any of their assets to kill, especially the ones that are right-leaning, because it's going to obviously hurt what's going on here. Bill Maher talking about the atrocities in Nigeria, and hardly anyone's talking about it. And he was on with Mace, I think this is, right? And she's like just almost surprised that Bill's bringing this up. It's pretty cool.
Nigeria, I mean, the fact that this issue has not gotten on people's radar.
Right, no one's talking about it.
It's pretty amazing. If you don't know what's going on in Nigeria, your media sources suck. You are in a bubble. And again, I'm not a Christian, but they are systematically killing the Christians in Nigeria. They've killed over 100,000 since 2009. They've burned 18,000 churches. This is so much more. These are their Islamists, Boko Haram. This is so much more of a genocide attempt than what is going on in Gaza. They are literally attempting to wipe out the Christian population of an entire country. Where are the kids protesting this?
Thank you. Thank you. Because no one will talk about it, so thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, nobody talking about that either. I mean, it's just the atrocities that are happening on the planet right now are out of control. What's happening in governments around the world, which we'll get to, is just insane right now. Like, we are about to break. Something heavy is about to break. Charlie Kirk's assassin, Tyler Robinson, he's set to appear before the court. We've got a little bit of a Fox News on this.
They inherently do because they are human beings. Let me be clear. I will not put my finger on the scale of justice. These proceedings will be open to the public, conducted in accordance with the law, and handled with diligence and competence to ensure that justice is never compromised. It is the standing order of this court that Mr. Robinson shall be allowed to appear in person so he can fully engage with his attorneys and participate in these legal proceedings. Counsel, regardless of who is watching, whether it is the nation or a single individual, we must fulfill our roles with integrity, civility, and diligence. I encourage each of you to give your very best to this case. Neither Mr. Robinson nor the people of Utah deserve anything less than the fair and impartial administration of justice. In regards to the next hearing, counsel.
Wow, dude screams being gay. I don't even know if he is or not. He sure sounds like it, that's for sure. Wow. Anyway, yes, so they're going to be public, the hearings. That's going to be kind of cool, I guess, to a degree. So at least I'll be able to see it, and we'll have all sorts of conspiracy theories, I'm sure, around that. I want to remind you guys of the Wellness Company. They are incredible. In fact, I'm getting my next batch is going to be showing up in the mail today. I'm excited. So I've still got, I don't know, about 10 more or so in there. And then I got another bottle of 90 that just showed up. And I'm telling you, I am noticing huge differences just in the big picture. And I'm actually going a little more cray-cray for about a week, maybe 2. No drinking at all. And so we're trying to kind of really hit it. I think the alcohol basically was keeping some stuff alive. So I'm gonna kind of do a couple week, a little heavier cleanse, if you will. And we're gonna see some differences. And I've been talking about the little red spots. Those are all starting to turn dark. And I'm curious if they shrivel up and go away, or if they, I don't know. I'm kind of curious what my body does with those. Of course, I've got my Healthy Home stuff with the collagen peptide. That's helping. And I'm also using Stem Active to help with the healing process as well. But this cleanse is playing a huge role in my health, and I'm loving it. TWC.health/OTF. That's TWC, the wellness company. TWC.health/OTF. Incredible stuff. If you've rolled your sleeve up, this Ultimate Spike Detox is for you. It's literally designed to find that cleavage site, to find that specific spike protein, attach to it, and then literally pull it out of your body. Once it attaches to it, it's happy. The spike protein's happy, and so is the element, and it becomes something that now can be washed out of the body, if you will, peed out basically, or whatever. Right? The Ultimate Spike Detox is perfectly formulated to do exactly that. So if you rolled up your sleeve, you know somebody that rolled up your sleeve that you're living with, highly recommend Ultimate Spike Detox. That is incredibly important in the big picture. Peak metabolism. If you're someone that's actually trying to lose weight, this is going to be a big, big help for you. And they do have stuff by goal: anti-aging, appetite control, cleanse, detox. So you've got a few ways to find all the products. You've got your best sellers, but that is kind of limited. The Revive section is fantastic. So the ivermectin mebendazole, this is the cleanse. This is the parasite cleanse. There is a lot of research that suggests ivermectin and mebendazole. First off, you got 25 milligrams of ivermectin and 250 milligrams of the mebendazole. This is an awesome approach towards antiparasitics for sure. But when you do the research and find out parasites are, well, oftentimes being associated with cancer. Also, understand that these are antiviral medications, and there's a number of viruses that we experience. Even stuff like cold sores, for example, are a virus. They don't seem to show up at all. Whole time I've been working on this, I mean, I haven't actually had, I get cold sore, I don't know, maybe one a year. I don't know. Depends if I get stressed out or do something crazy. Nah, I haven't had one since I've been doing this ivermectin stuff for a while now. Nothing. Like, warts are even considered viruses. Like, there's just a lot of weird viruses in our body that doesn't like this process. This thing, I think, helps in a whole lot of different ways. So I cannot push strong enough for the ivermectin mebendazole. I want to remind you guys, because you might get sticker shock when you see this. You get 90 pills. 90 pills at 25 milligrams of ivermectin mixed with 250 milligrams of mebendazole. If you just broke those two out and tried to get the India-made stuff, you would pay more than $599. This is actually a really good deal for what you're getting when you break down the dollars per pill. And it's actually a very, very good deal. So something to keep in mind on that. Also, they've got just plain ivermectin, right? If you want to get that. They've also got this really cool ivermectin cream. So if you've one of these people that has skin cancer and stuff along those lines, people are noticing huge helps with this clear skin ivermectin cream. Huge helps. Again, ivermectin is this funny little, well, kind of looking to be a cure-all to a large extent, right? So longevity, you got anti-aging stuff, you got appetite control, you've got all these great products in here. You've also got the Recharge, the methylene blue. A lot of people talking about that. This actually has 3 ingredients, not just methylene blue, which it has. That enhances cognition, energy, and cellular resilience. But it also has NAD+, which restores mitochondrial function and mental clarity. And it's also got PQQ, which supports cellular renewal, boosts energy, and enhances memory. You got 3 of these awesome things working together with you. And methylene blue is the thing that RFK Jr. puts into his stuff. There's drops that I can almost reach. And there's some drops that you can get too if you want to just put stuff in your water. Again, there's a number of ways you can get methylene blue, but this is certainly a very good approach right here. And they put all the wonderful ingredients together for you. So again, highly recommend checking out The Wellness Company. Go to twc.health/OTF. That's twc.health/OTF. Make sure you check out all the shop stuff for sure, but they even have memberships, and they've got virtual care. If you want to see a physician and actually talk to them, this is a great way to do it, and they're very affordable, and there's some great doctors that have put all this together. Once again, that's twc.health/OTF, twc.health/OTF. Heck yeah. All right. Donald Trump posted this, and he's posted some strange stuff. I don't need to play this whole video, but he posted a video that he ended up taking down, and it was a video talking about med beds. I think Jordan Sather was even joking that it looked like his account got hacked. I don't know if he was just sharing something because he thought it was cool, if he was sharing something that he was trying to give a hint to the public, like, maybe this is coming, but he pulled it down. But he also posted something that he left up, and he's talking about CBD and the benefits of CBD. So there's this reasonably long video. It's not that long. It's 2 minutes, 46 seconds. That does talk about the benefits of CBD. If you're aware of CBD benefits, cool. If you're not, whatever. We don't need to play the video for that sake. But it is interesting that Trump is posting this. A lot of people are, tripping on it, for lack of a better way to put it. FBI lab report, contradictory witness statements inject fresh mystery in unsolved J6 pipe bomb case. So they specifically, the FBI told us that it was planted the night before. A lady that was doing her laundry saw it the morning before, and she said there was no way it was there 40 minutes prior because she was going to do her laundry then and then came back when she was heading back to, probably switch them to another machine or whatever. And that's when she saw the bomb. And she said it really stood out. So she has an impossible time believing that she missed it the first time she was walking. And so she saw it. She saw that it still had 20 minutes of time on it, which it only had a 60-minute timer. So this is one of the things that's very interesting. One, were these timers even effective? Did they actually even work? They're wondering if the actual explosive devices themselves even worked. But they also, they're tripping because the one they found the following day and the timer apparently had gotten reset at some point. So again, some weird stuff is showing up. We've got eyewitnesses that don't match up with what the FBI originally told us when they're sharing the video with us. So we're coming to find out that we've been lied to about what's going on. Kash Patel is trying to bring the attention to Congress and give them any information they have, but they waited a year. They waited a year before they started to actually investigate and talk to the witnesses. Literally 1 year before they finally started to talk to people. Everything about this reeks of a cover-up. This is all Chris Wray. This is all of his nonsense. Everything about this reeks of a cover-up. Nothing does. And again, whether Kash is going to be able to figure anything out, we don't know, but he's trying to be as forthcoming and honest as he possibly can. It's also been revealed that under the then FBI Director James Comey, a secret honeypot operation using 2 female undercover agents was launched in 2015 to infiltrate President Trump's first campaign, with the current FBI under Kash Patel now investigating this scheme. Now, I know earlier on it seemed Kash Patel, I think, poo-pooed this, unless maybe I was confusing another story, but the fact that he's investigating it now and the fact that it's getting more press, obviously some sort of misunderstanding occurred, probably on my part. Needless to say, here's some additional information.
Infiltrate President Trump's first campaign by using 2 undercover agents in a so-called honeypot operation?
Incredible.
Todd Pyro joins us with details. Todd.
This is big. Under the leadership of new FBI Director Kash Patel and Deputy Director Dan Bongino, the Bureau has reportedly launched an investigation into the agency's plan to infiltrate President Trump's first campaign using 2 female undercover agents. The Washington Times reporting that the program was launched in 2015 by then FBI Director James Comey. The honeypot scheme was actually kept off the books, and according to a whistleblower, Comey's investigation was separate from Crossfire Hurricane. You, of course, know that as the FBI's operation that looked into allegations Trump's campaign colluded with Russia. A whistleblower disclosure says, quote, the case had no predicated foundation, so Comey personally directed the investigation without creating an official case file in Sentinel or any other FBI system. The FBI has multiple methods of protecting highly sensitive investigations, so Comey did not have a legitimate reason not to officially create an official investigation file or have a file number. FBI leaders are reportedly looking for those once undercover agents who are said to have infiltrated the Trump campaign at high levels. Back over to you.
This story is insane. Thank you so much, Todd. The whistleblower said that Comey personally directed it and using 2 female undercover agents as honeypots. They say it usually refers to an undercover operative who feigns sexual or romantic interest to obtain information on a target. So were these honeypots targeting Donald Trump? Were they targeting people on his team? Were they women that we were seeing on air all the time traveling with him?
If this is true, he's a dirty cop. And this is the same thing that is alleged that they did the same thing to Martin Luther King Jr. as well and recorded him to use as leverage. So the FBI, which was supposed to have reformed if this report is true, apparently never reformed at all.
Yeah, J. Edgar Hoover moved. James Comey always said he was above it all. And we know, soon we're going to find out if that indeed, was he above it all? Was he just tall, or is he just, was he actually?
I love how the auto texting does on stuff. So they said J. Edgar Hoover, and it just said Jagger. I love how it gets it wrong frequently. That was pretty funny. Needless to say, this is definitely screams bad cop. Screams all the different places where the conspiracy was happening. Again, a lot of people are talking about how, the statute of limitations is passed with James Comey. Not necessarily. If there's a conspiracy and one still continuing, which it seems to be the case, that clock doesn't start ticking until after the conspiracy is done, which we're probably not to yet, right? This is working out a little differently than a lot of people realize. So speaking of James Comey, let's take a closer look at some very interesting details about James Comey. He once served on the board of the Clinton Foundation, an organization many regard as one of the most powerful and corrupt syndicates ever created. His brother, Peter Comey, is tied in as well. Through the D.C. law firm DLA Piper, Peter oversaw the Clinton Foundation's tax returns, keeping everything managed from within. Before that, James Comey had a seat at the HSBC Bank, an institution deeply entangled in global money laundering. A significant portion of those funds, unsurprisingly, found their way into the Clinton Foundation. Beyond finances, Comey's name has been linked to the Clinton circles notorious for drug trafficking, and wherever drug trafficking operates, child trafficking usually follows. To top it all off, James Comey's associations extend even further. Records and reports tie him to multiple visits to Epstein Island, not just once or twice, but many, many times. Yeah, we got to drain the swamp for sure. And we've got, some major information about Adam Schiff as well. This is why he's on the thumbnail. Speaking of Adam Schiff, here's who he really is. Corrupt politician. Schiff isn't just a public servant. He's a parasite who built his entire career on lies, deceit, and dirty power plays. I would love to give him one of these and probably knock him out. Russia hoax mastermind. He cooked up the Trump-Russia collusion scam from thin air, fed the media fake leaks, and turned Congress into his personal stage. Mortgage fraud. He scammed the system by claiming 2 primary residences at once, Maryland for cheap loans, California for tax breaks. This is not clever bookkeeping. That's outright fraud. Bank fraud, tax fraud, wire fraud. Voter fraud. While living in Maryland, he still voted in California. That's not a mistake. That's an election crime. Leaker of secrets. He weaponized classified information, handing out lies like candy to journalists whenever it gave him a headline. Schiff treats national security like his personal toy. January 6 manipulator. He doctored evidence, suppressed the truth, and used January 6 as a political hit job against Trump supporters. Schiff didn't investigate. He staged a show trial. Shady ties. His associations with corrupt players like Ed Buck tell you everything about the company he keeps. Birds of a feather, dirty, corrupt, and untouchable. Censorship pushers. He leaned on big tech to silence Americans, censor speech, and hide the truth about elections and COVID. Schiff doesn't believe in democracy. He believes in control. And finally, a walking indictment. Schiff is the definition of political rot. He belongs in handcuffs, his fortune stripped, his career erased permanently. And we will see if and when we manage to get to that point. Missouri governor signs Trump-backed congressional redistricting map into law. So now we've got Texas and Missouri. Oh no, California, whatever could you possibly try to do a second time? Which, by the way, I finally got my little voting thing in the mail, which we have a special election coming up, and I think that stupid redistricting thing is on there. I will, of course, vote against it, but we'll see how that overall works in the big picture. But yeah, nasty, dirty people. All right, a little bit of cray-cray going on in the world right now, at least in the States, all over the place. Here's a great example of why New York's such a wonderful place. They did this right in front of cops. Pay attention.
Like a bloody thing must get cool, man.
Literally 3 cops. 3 cops did nothing. Nothing. Because they don't care. They can't get them busted anyway. There's nothing they can do, right? Eric Adams, he drops out of the New York City mayoral race. He posted this. We'll play this. Only in America, only in New York. Thank you for making my story a reality. Hopefully it's not terribly long. Let's see. Way the hell too long.
Nearly 4 years ago, Gracie Mansion became my home. Who would have thought that a kid from South Jamaica, Queens, growing up with learning disabilities could one day become the mayor of the greatest city in the world?
That's actually pretty cool. I mean, it'd be fun to play the whole thing, but it's way the hell too long. But that's a beautiful story. I'm hoping that's his mom. And again, he's someone that I always saw as a Democrat, so I kind of disliked him until he started speaking out against the Biden administration when it came to the immigration problem that was inflicting all sorts of horrendous experiences for New Yorkers. And he came out and actually spoke on behalf of New Yorkers and got himself in a world of hurt. And it was that moment when I'm like, all right, maybe this guy's okay. It was kind of much like when everyone started attacking Trump. I didn't like Trump. I never liked Trump. But when everyone started attacking him, I realized, oh, this is the guy. This is it. Okay, gotcha. Game on. Let's do this. So, again, sometimes you can't choose who's necessarily in front of you, and you can't necessarily choose how they will transform and change in the time that you know them. But when they do, well, I think it's important to stay open to those possibilities that they're a little more on our side than they were before. I still feel this way about Manchin. A lot of people give me shit for that, and that's fine. I don't really care. Fetterman's the same way. Dude's still a Democrat, but he's actually one of the only ones that's actually making sense and speaking out against their craziness. Kirsten Sinema, she actually left her party as well, right? So we've had a few of these people, and they haven't been super strong. I'll get you. I mean, Manchin, he's saved us single-handedly. I think about 5 different votes literally saved us. And I think Fetterman is playing a huge role in this big picture as well. But again, I know a lot of us just see D, C, R, and we assume if you got an R, you're obviously okay. And if you've got a D, well, you're not okay, right? That's not really that simple. And we all know we got a bunch of R's that are total dicks. We got R's that are D's. And we certainly got a couple D's that are, I think, America first. A couple, not a lot. And I think there are probably more, but they know they can't come out and say anything because if they do, they'll be attacked by their own party. Mamdani pledging an extra $100 million for migrant legal aid to stop deportations. That's taxpayer money, New York. Any New Yorkers that actually votes this dude in, if he gets in, I think me and probably most of the country is literally going to ride off New York. It's such a potential shame. Such a magnificent city to literally just be given away to these people. And I know Trump's going to fight this harder, but I almost wonder if this is the thing that has to happen to New York so New York finally pulls their heads out of their asses. I feel like California is a little further. I hope. We'll see. I think we're a little further ahead in our awakening process than New York seems to be. Again, we'll see. If Mamdani gets in, I will be absolutely shocked. What blows my mind even further is that we're actually wanting Cuomo to win. That's what's trippy. So with Adams stepping out, that's actually giving Cuomo better numbers. And I don't know, there's a chance he might win. And here we all are all rooting for Cuomo, which is just baffling. California warns fuel traders of shortage, threatens fall price spike. They're losing 2 more refineries this year, and then typical every year in fall, we have maintenance that's done on some of these refineries. And I think it's as they switch between blends too. We have like a winter blend and a summer blend. And so there's this period where 1 or 2 of these go offline. We're already seeing a spike in gas prices here, $4.66, the average gas price right now in California, $1.48 above the national average. Washington State supposedly topped us recently, but this article's saying California is still number 1 for the most expensive gas. But Newsom has done a piss-poor job managing this state. They've made it so unfriendly for oil companies, or any company for that matter, that oil companies literally are like, no, we don't want to come in. We're not going to come in and drill in your state. We're not going to continue to work in your state. No, you can tell us you want to. You can say nice things to us. We're not going to do it because we know we're immediately going to get fined down the road for all this stupid environmental crap you guys do here in California. So they're like, no, we're not. No, fuck you, California, pretty much. And good. We deserve it. I mean, if gas prices go up to $6, $7, I mean, people are going to freak out and they'll finally start to realize you can't trust Democrat leadership, period. All over the East Coast, we've got electricity prices that are insanely high for people because of Democrat-run states and cities. Same situation out here. Electric cost is a big part of why I got solar, because I know the price of electricity is going to go through the damn roof. And not to mention the lack of reliability that we have. So, again, this is one of the only things I can do to try to help that for me. Not to mention it does, if electricity goes out, and it still allows me to power my home, which, you know, considering what I do for a living, this is very important as well. It's a backup plan, right? So, California warns of trade fuel shortages, I should say. We've got Nicole Shanahan is now aggressively pushing to place voter ID on the California ballot in 2026. I hope she can pull this off. This is the chick that was besties with RFK Jr. They had that falling out. She was his vice president choice, I guess, and they kind of had a falling out once he got out of the election, which I think we all know in hindsight was a wonderful job. But this young lady is still fighting the fight, and I love it. We need this. We need people to be fighting for California too. That's for damn sure. So she was on with the Benny, Benny show. And we'll listen to this.
And where I'm putting my efforts is on the voter ID initiative. We do know that there's an enormous number of undocumented individuals that are casting votes in our California election. That's a problem, especially when you know that behind that are Mexican cartels that are getting paid and they're kind of working with the California government to ensure this endless amount of migration, undocumented migration. So voter ID is where I'm going to be focused. I think this is going to be a really important one. 70% of Californians want it. We're going to get it on the ballot. There's a signature requirement. Luckily, I know a little bit about that. And I think we're going to be very successful.
Okay. So how many signatures are required to get a voter ID in California?
I think we've got to do about 1 million just to make sure we clear the requirement.
What about us? You know, we were just able to register thousands of young voters at a game this weekend at Penn State. We're able to have thousands and tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands at Turning Point events. We should do like a big event, right? We should bring in like Scott Pressler.
Let's do it, Benny. Come on over to California.
Yeah. We should do like a huge event, and we can like organize in like a smart area, right? I don't know if it's Huntington Beach or if it's somewhere up north. But organize in a smart area and get signatures. Like get a bunch of Californians, bring in like Don and Eric, and I'll come over and I'll hype it like crazy and do like a massive event. Have Scott Pressler out there registering voters, right? And and bring in like and have Steve Hilton and yourself, of course, at like headline and keynote, and then we can use that as an opportunity to get signatures, right?
Yeah, most definitely. Let's do it. We're gonna start signature collection, I believe. Within the next 4 or 5 months, but I'll be posting about it on my X. Okay. Benny, let's talk. Let's make this happen.
Totally. Bring in JD. Bring in people who like have like good, strong connections to California. I was born in California, right? Like yeah. So like I hate to see it. I hate to see what's happening. I was raised in Iowa. My parents moved quickly after the Rodney King riots in L.A. Something that seems to happen every couple of years. L.A. just burns to the ground. But they were like, we're not gonna raise our kids right in a city with sectarian violence that's like on fire, and so they fled. They fled to Iowa. About the opposite of the literal polar opposite of California. But anyway, the point is that like every American's heart should be in this beautiful state, this state filled with God's wonders, and we should all want to save California. So that'd be great.
It's a very large economy, and it's very powerful, and it's
all right. Well, I mean, I guess we get the point. Yeah. So it would be cool. I hope they do. I hope they arrange something in California, obviously trying to help get the ball across the line for any of us and anywhere is great. So, yeah, it might be something, especially if it's Huntington Beach, that might be something I might be willing to try to go to and maybe get a chance to meet some of you guys too. We'll see. I don't know. I don't normally like going where there's crowds, kind of hate crowds in general. So we'll see. We'll see. Maybe I'll just, post it or something. We'll see. We'll see. That's a ways off. Pentagon's calling up 200 National Guard troops to Portland after the Trump announcement. Now, we do know that Portland has done a lawsuit. We'll get there in a second.
Federal deployment from the Trump administration. Federalized National Guard troops have been ordered to Portland, Oregon, following escalating tensions outside federal immigration facilities.
Secretary of War Pete Hegseth on Sunday federalized 200 Oregon National Guard troops and ordered them to Portland. President Trump says the troops will protect immigration facilities and respond to threats from Antifa, a group Trump designated as a terrorist organization last week. The deployment drew praise from some local residents who spoke to the Post Millennial.
We've been asking for help for months, and we're finally going to get it.
Federal authorities have also spoken out after recent attacks on ICE facilities, including a shooting last week.
This horrendous attack must serve as a wake-up call to the far-left media pundits and politicians demonizing our ICE law enforcement. Comparing ICE officers day in and day out to the Nazi Gestapo, the secret police, and the slave patrols has real-life consequences.
Oregon and Portland officials have filed a lawsuit challenging the federal government's authority. They argue there is no invasion, rebellion, or other danger that would justify deploying the National Guard. State leaders say the deployment could inflame tensions rather than maintain public safety. According to data from the Major Cities Chiefs Association, crime in Portland has dropped significantly this year. The planned deployment comes amid an increase of federal law enforcement in other U.S. cities, including Chicago, where federal agents patrolled downtown streets over the weekend. Violent clashes at a federal ICE facility in Broadview, Illinois have also heightened tensions. Authorities say they arrested 11 individuals over the weekend and investigated what appeared to be an explosive device near the site.
Any no-bail city that claims crime is going down is full of shit. Period. What they're doing is altering statistics. We saw them doing it in D.C. and they got caught, and the only reason we were able to catch them there is because it's D.C. It's not a real city. It's still federal-controlled land. So Trump was able to do that. So, yeah. Oh, crime's gone down in Portland. No, it hasn't. That's horse shit. You just don't arrest anybody. And you heard the people that are grateful that people are actually coming to the rescue. And amen to that. Amen to that. Happening now, hundreds of agitators, including Antifa, mob federal police officers outside the ICE facility in Portland. Again, nothing to see here. And them saying, well, this will just inflame tensions. Good. And then we'll take care of business, and we're going to arrest a whole shit ton of people that are problems. And they're going to go to jail for 10 years. And we're not going to have to worry about them committing crime anymore. See, that's what's awesome about this. And now it's a federal offense, too, when they attack a federal building. So your little state laws aren't going to matter. No, this is not going to play out the way the deep state wants it to, or the left, or the crazy left, or whatever.
Bend over and pick it up. He's gonna bend over and pick it up. Yeah, that's right.
So, yeah, we get the point, backing away. And Antifa's probably going to be attacking this place. But that's the thing. It's the second they attack in any way, shape, or form, the second they put any officers in harm's way, the second they put their hands on any officers, the second they spit on any officers, they will be arrested. That's it. We're not playing anymore. And yes, the point of this, to a degree, is to get them inflamed and out on the streets. Yes, that's exactly what we want. And we're going to protect the federal building with federal troops. You can't say that's commie-potatatas. I'm saying that wrong, aren't I? Whatever. It's not that. Because they're protecting the federal building and they're not arresting people. They can detain somebody until a police officer shows up. Now, I'm curious if the police officers are going to be assisting or if the sheriff might. We'll see how that kind of plays out. But yeah, this is gonna get much, much uglier before it gets better. And I think we're about to go into the true dark night of the soul. I think we're going to see it on the planet with the stuff this close to wars. But we are definitely seeing a lot. So this was, I think, last night. But just outside the ICE facility in Portland, federal police dragged an Antifa militant into custody. Game on, guys. That's all there is to it. It's game on right now. So, again, don't get yourself out in the middle of it. Watch outside your front door. Don't get too much further away than that. Oregon sues to block Trump's use of the National Guard because of the... Let's see if they got the word in here. It's like at least feel like I can say it properly again. Where is it? Commie-potatatas? Why can't I remember that stupid word? And of course, I can't find it easily. That sucks. Whatever. There it is. The Posse Comitatus Act. There you go. I was totally switching those words. That's funny as hell. No wonder it wasn't working. Yeah, the Posse Comitatus. There we go. I feel better now. I feel better. You've probably already sent me the email. That's going to suck. Minnesota Democrats build a $730 million palace for them to, work in. But they only work 5 months out of the year. They literally just spent $1 billion almost. Probably going to cost more than what they claim, so let's call it $1 billion. State Rep Kristen Robbins exposed that Democrats in St. Paul are forcing taxpayers to fund this massive building. This is insanity.
Hey there, State Representative Kristen Robbins. I had to run to the Capitol today for some meetings, and I thought I'd show you what's going on with the remodel of our state office building. As you might remember, it is costing you, the taxpayer, $730 million to more than double the footprint of our old office building, even though we are only in session 5 months a year. This is really a huge waste of taxpayer money, and it continues apace. I tried many different ways to try and stop it, and we weren't able to do so. But I just want you to see what your money is being spent on here in St. Paul. $730 million is about the size of the entire bonding bill for the whole state. This is really bad use of taxpayer money.
Wonder how much carbon's being released on that unnecessary project. Not that I would ever push that direction per se, because I don't really care. Donald Trump tweeted this out. Our movie-making business has been stolen from the United States of America by other countries, just like stealing candy from a baby. California, with its weak and incompetent governor, has been particularly hard hit. Therefore, in order to solve this long-time, never-ending problem, I will be imposing 100% tariff on any and all movies that are made outside of the United States. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Make America great again. President Donald J. Trump. I don't even know what that means. What does it mean to have a tariff on a movie? Right? Like if a movie's released to I assume somebody pays money to get the rights to release it. Maybe that's where that money's going. Right? Because if it's made in another country and they want to play it in our theaters here, they've obviously got to work through the different movie companies. And usually how that works is they buy or rent, I should say, for how many theaters they're going to have it in and all that stuff. And they pay a certain amount of money to have that movie in their building. And so maybe that's where that tariff gets kicked in. I don't know. I'm kind of curious. Maybe we'll find out more in the later days. Drone maker DJI, it lost a lawsuit it had going over its inclusion on the blacklist of projects or products that work with the CCP. They tried to sue the Trump administration to get around this and basically said, no, we shouldn't be on that blacklist. The judge said, hell yeah, you should. 49-page opinion. U.S. District Judge Paul Friedman ruled that the Pentagon's findings that DJI contributes to the Chinese defense industrial base is supported by substantial evidence, even though he cannot conclude that the DJI is indirectly owned by the Chinese Communist Party. So, yeah, he's like, I don't know if you guys are owned by them or not, but you are definitely supporting their military. Yep, done. Game over. Sorry, drone maker. You're out. So more deep state attacks. DNI Tulsi Gabbard is, of course, under attack, like always. The latest effort surfaces as embeds within Main Justice and the CIA frame a storyline that Tulsi Gabbard's action in removing the security clearances of 37 current and former officials has now resulted in those same officials being incapable of testifying against former CIA Director John Brennan and others. First off, that's just asinine. I took away your security clearance, so what? Now you can't testify about something someone did in the past? How does that work? Where's your brain trying to connect those dots? So this premise of the narrative is ridiculous. If we are to accept some current or former IC officials are willing to testify against Brennan or others, regardless of whether Tulsi Gabbard has revoked their security clearances, their retroactive knowledge is still pertinent. They are completely free to give statements and testimony based on their prior conduct. They just can't utilize the system anymore. That's all. And they're just coming up with a bullshit story. And again, it's Axios that's putting this out, so can't trust it at all. In fact, there's another Axios article that I just completely didn't even pull up today. I was going to. It was like newsworthy, but it's Axios. It's like, I can't even confirm this. This doesn't seem right. Whistleblower John Cassaretti calls on Trump to separate air marshal services from the TSA. Said they just don't belong together. TSA is not really a police enforcement agency, and really air marshals services have been drastically reduced in their abilities because of being affiliated with the TSA. So, I don't know. Interesting thought. I didn't really know that air marshal was under TSA. That seems kind of crazy. So hopefully Trump might do something about that. And obviously it's strange that it took a whistleblower to tell us that. It shouldn't be like a secret. I mean, hopefully he's whistleblowing on other stuff, but like, yeah, everybody should know. I mean, the org chart should show where the air marshals fall under. So I don't think he needed a whistleblower to say that, but he might be calling in some of the other crap that's, nuts that's happening. So that's good, right? U.S. gears up for possible China conflict. Pentagon's pushing to make missiles much, much faster, double, quadruple missile creation. We are apparently expecting to go to war. We're doing a few weird things right now. So that's one thing in particular. We've also got a wave of U.S. air tankers just deployed to Europe over the weekend. Whole bunch of KC-135 RT Strato tankers. Those are those aerial refueling, 4 engines. They're very capable aircraft. And we sent roughly about a dozen of them. I guess we're seeing 8 tankers are on their way. Someone put closer to roughly a dozen. 8's not roughly a dozen, but okay, sure. So anyway, we sending a bunch of refuelers over to likely England. And so a lot of people are like, why? What are we doing over in Europe? What are we about to take care of in Europe? What sort of crazy attack is about to happen in Europe? Is this posturing to prepare for allowing Ukraine to do even crazier stuff? I mean, I just don't know. I don't know what's going on. I know Trump is playing some crazy games with Russia right now. I know Russia's kind of stressing this a little bit because they're like, dude, we either got to get this shit done or the United States is truly going to deploy and we're going to be fighting against Trump. And that's not good for anybody. We're hearing all sorts of crazy stuff, right? And we've got some more news, too, about Russia coming up here in a bit. U.S. preparing possible drone strikes on drug cartels inside Venezuela. Now, one would think you would want a bunch of refuelers for something like this, but they're going to a whole different part of the country, or the world, right? Not even anywhere near Venezuela. Now, granted, I think we've probably got dozens of these craft, so I'm sure we got plenty of them here. We've got them scattered all over the place, for that matter. I'm sure we've got a bunch of them out at the place below India. So the toll out there, right? Diego Garcia. I'm sure we got a bunch there. I'm sure we got these things all over the damn place, probably in Japan, certainly in Europe. But they're extremely useful, and we do support other militaries with them. So these flyings that they're doing over in Poland, it could be tied into that. Like, all right, we'll send up some refuelers to help you guys keep planes in the air. And probably, knowing Trump, he's, makes them rent them from us or pay the fuel or something. I'm sure there's some sort of accounting that takes place. But so we are preparing for attacks inside of Venezuela. Talking about potentially hitting people's homes, drug manufacturing facilities, possibly any sort of weapons storage stuff that might exist for the cartels. I don't know if Venezuela is going to want to declare war against us or what, but I'm sure we're I don't care if you do, so whatever. We've declared war against your drug people. We know that Maduro is tied into that group, so 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. But we are likely going to see some changes there. That's going to piss off some other countries, too. Keep that in mind. Senator Dick Durbin, months from retirement, becomes the first Democrat to literally criticize the H-1B visa program. It's like he's a bipartisan for the first time. A pair of senators is asking 10 major CEOs to explain why they are hiring Indian and Chinese H-1B migrants while they are also firing skilled American professionals. I mean, the truth is, they're cheaper. I can get one of these H-1B immigrants and I can pay them roughly a third of what I pay an American. I can hire 3 of them for every 1 American I get. But you're not helping America at all. In fact, in a lot of cases, you're giving your secrets away to these other countries. So you're hurting yourself, you're hurting your country, you're hurting your company, but your bottom line's good. This short-term thinking is one of the big things. Trump was even talking about one of the biggest differences between China and us. China, when they think corporately, they've got a 100-year plan, which is just crazy. A 100-year plan for when they think about who's going to manage the company, who's going to be next, right? That stuff is planned out. They bring people up. It is a process. We look out 3 months for earnings reports. He was trying to change that to 6. It's insane what's going on. So, the fact that Dick Durbin is getting involved and he's not running anymore, so he can, again, help America a little more than he could have before when he had to hold that D on his chest. Futures jump as the melt-up returns. Gold soared. I'm curious to see where it's at the moment. It was definitely up this morning. It was like, holy crap. A lot's happening in the big world. This concern about further fighting, what Trump is doing, there's just the government shutdown. I guess the polygraph or whatever they are, the group that does political polling or does, if you want to bet on political stuff, they're the ones that do the betting and kind of create the numbers. I guess there's a 75% chance right now that the government will shut down, is what they're saying. Polypoll or something, I forget what they're called. So Democrat and Republican congressional leaders are supposed to be meeting with Trump today. They've got some pretty high demands, are all around health care, giving it to illegal aliens, spending a bunch of money. Trump's not willing to do that, I know. Got to talk to him. So we'll see. We'll see if they can come up with something. I mean, supposedly Trump's going to kind of try to talk him into something to the effect of, look, we need to get this CR across the desk. If we want to try to negotiate something, for November, cool. But right now, we need to keep the government going. If you, in fact, don't let us do this, then we will literally lay off a bunch of people while the government shut down. And there's nothing you can do about it. Democrats are screwed, and likely if a government shutdown happens, they're probably going to take the blame for it on top of everything else. It'll be their fault that they let Trump fire a bunch of people. It's just going to look bad on them. Now, if Trump's firing of people can actually be shown to save us money, help us get better and more efficient, then Trump's going to win anyways. Now, again, a lot of stuff has to happen now. We've got elections in less than a year, or about a year. And certainly there's going to be some special elections happening here in just a month. So we've got a lot on the line right now. A lot is happening. And again, the deep state is doing everything they can to cause as much chaos as possible. Trump is well aware of that. And so he is obviously, in my opinion, doing a lot to mess with it. When he sends the National Guard into Portland, that screws stuff up so badly for the deep state because they lost L.A. They weren't able to start that riot that they wanted in the summer. Remember, we were supposed to have a summer of love. They were talking about it. Even Juan O'Savin was talking a lot about it. And we stopped it. It was stopped. Trump is very, very aware of how to stop a lot of this stuff, especially when he's got the full support of the government behind him. And if John Thune can actually get all of his people appointed, which I think he's been working pretty crazy on lately. So we'll see some improvements coming. Soros-backed leftist group behind campaign to force government shutdown. We're finding there's a bunch of money being spent where they're literally trying to get to the senators and the Congress members and essentially, well, the senators, and giving them money or whatever and telling them, look, no, shut the government down. So this is, it's going to be proven that it's them. Again, this is an Axios story. They're proud of themselves right now. Their Daily Caller, sorry. Close enough, same thing. All right, let's see where we're at the moment. Yeah, gold went up a bunch. It broke 38 again. And so we're at 38.55 right now with gold. It's going to sail past 4,000. Silver's at 47. 47. It has gone up so much in 6 months. It's out of control. Again, this is year to date, just for fun. So at the start of the year, we were at, what, 29.90. 29.90. We're at $47 right now. That's just craziness. Craziness. So again, yes, get out of their system, guys. If you've got a 401k or an IRA, you can keep having your company match or whatever. Keep doing that. That's fine. But divest a whole bunch of it into precious metals. Protect yourself. Protect your wealth. Protect your buying power. You realize this one gold piece right here, it's 1 ounce of gold. Could have bought myself a tailored suit back in 1930 with 1 ounce of gold. Right now, 1 ounce of gold will buy me a fully tailored suit. It holds buying power. The difference in the cost of the suit is significant. It's no longer $30. It's now closer to $3,800. As inflation happens, the value goes up to match it. In some cases, we've got doublers and multipliers. That's kind of what's happening with silver right now. Silver's gone up a bunch in a short time. This is protecting your buying power. Whether or not you cash it into dollars, Federal Reserve notes later, shouldn't have to. That'll be silly because we're probably going to go to some other form of a currency. Again, when we look at where are the places that the government put fences up around, the White House and the Treasury, not the Fed, not the Federal Reserve, but we put up protection around the Treasury. Why? Because we want to protect our money. Our money, the actual money, not the bullshit money. Get out of their system. They're going to give you, 1, it's going to be done tax-free, penalty-free. You're going to move it sideways. 2, it's actually physical metals. 3, they're going to give you up to 10% free silver. Free silver. If you move $100,000, you're going to get $10,000 in free silver. So that's pretty sweet. On top of that, you're also probably going to get the collectible Ronald Reagan coin. Seriously, 4 data points. Get your data points. Get your free wealth protection kit. That's really what it is. It's information on how to protect your wealth with Precious Metals IRA. It's an incredible idea. Again, keep putting money. Keep letting your company match it. That's fine. Don't put all your eggs in that stock market basket. We're seeing all sorts of crazy. There's a lot of people talking about this giant bubble. Don't get trapped in it when it pops. Don't get anywhere near it. And my good friends at Goldco can help you do this quickly. They're very good at it. They've got a number of suppliers. It's actual, like I said, physical gold. It's put into a trust. It's not sent directly to you. They can't do that. That's the same thing as cashing it out. You can later have it sent to you. That's considered cashing it out, but you've already got the physical metals at that point. DRSlikesgold.com. 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 Get out of that system while you can. Hold that buying power while you can. And when we move to this new system, you can very easily get back into it. Asset-backed currency is what everyone's saying we're going to be going to. You already got the assets that will be backing the currency. It's a simple step at that point. DRSlikesgold.com. Massive comet hurtling towards us is larger than previously thought. Could be alien tech, scientists say. It could change everything for us. I just love the fact. First off, this is one dude, this guy. Okay? He's the one guy. He's from Harvard, okay, which used to matter. But one dude is behind all of this. One dude. Why people trust this one guy, I can't for the life of me figure out. There should be dozens of scientists that are agreeing with him if there's an ounce of truth in what he says. What he's doing is he's creating a whole lot of crazy thoughts. Secondly, oddly, historically, comets have always been harbingers of change. Major change is happening in the world right now. Now, someone points out something that I think symbolically is almost more important than the fact that we think there is a intelligently controlled object that's likely going to try to land on Mars. Again, you can believe that. I don't care. That's fine. Pretty sure it's a comet. It looks like a comet. Everyone's like, but it doesn't act like a comet. You mean the regular comets that we've seen that come from the Oort cloud? And this is an interstellar object that's not been formed, we think, in our own Oort cloud. So it might be different, you're saying? Yeah, and it would be probably. Could it have more CO2? Sure. That's not uncommon. And the fact that it's spitting off some of the stuff it is, I mean, again, this is an interstellar object. Again, I find it, and a lot of people are like, I find it weird that we found 3 of these recently. It's like, well, we've kind of recently put up some new technology. We've kind of got an easier understanding how to find them. I mean, they're not easy to see. So whatever. I mean, this is what's going on. The first one was Oumuamua. You guys probably remember that one. The second one, which is the one most of us forget the name of, was 2I Borisov, I think found in Russia. The I stands for interstellar, by the way. So the first one, Oumuamua, was really 1I, Oumuamua, or I mean, that's what they called it. 2I would be the second interstellar object we found. Now 3I, Atlas, because of where it was found, is the third interstellar object we've found. Now, Oumuamua was weird. It came and went. A lot of people said it was intelligently controlled, but it came and went, best we know. So again, whatever. I think they're going to come and go. I am curious if it hits Mars, though. It's going to be very, very close to Mars. Very, very close to Mars. It's going to be nowhere near us. We're going to be on the other side of the sun from it, so it's impossible for it to get anywhere near us. A lot of people have talked about that, too. No, nowhere near us. It's going to be very close to Mars. And then it does kind of come sort of close to Jupiter, that said. And then a lot of people are like, well, it's going way too fast for a comet. No, it's an interstellar object. That's a big part of what they do. They come in very fast from outside. Everyone's saying, yeah, but it would go to the sun because that's where the gravity is. Anybody that truly understands how gravity works, like, good example, all right? And this is going to piss some of you off that don't believe any of this shit, and that's fine, so I apologize for those. But the moon. Okay, when you talk about where's the gravity of the moon, a lot of people say that the moon actually orbits around the Earth. No, that's not true, actually. The way the orbit works is about 1/6 the distance between the moon and us is a central orbiting point. We orbit around that center of mass between the two of us. So where is the center of mass for our solar system? Well, the sun's a huge part of it, but would actually go out sort of close to where the giant gas planets are too. We have 4 giant-ass planets on that outer belt. So our gravity well within this would probably bring you in close to Mars, close to the sun, close to the other large gravity that exists from these other planets. That's just how gravity works. Again, I don't expect a bunch of people to believe me, but whatever. Now, it is coincidence that this is ripping through. It is going right next to Mars, the planet of war. And we've got all sorts of war happening. We've got escalations of war occurring. And we've got a war with the deep state currently happening as well. A lot of discussion that people came from Mars originally when the planet was destroyed, and the other planet out there, Maldek or Tiamat, is that maybe what's left of it? I think that's the little planetoid that's left of it, whatever. But these, they had a war. That's what history seems to be telling us. And a lot of people suspect we inherited a lot of those Martians here. And, they look like humans. They didn't come looking weird. But there are a lot of people that are here that are very different culturally. We have a few different cultures here, which is interesting. Almost like we all came from different places. Lumeria is one of the key bloodlines that we believe happened. Then there was some shenanigans where they played with that genetic bloodline. We believe a lot of that's written in the Bible, believe it or not, in the original Hebrew as well. Garden of Eden might have been more of a place where they were doing genetic research than necessarily the starting of civilization. Had a guard to keep you from being able to get back in. There's some very interesting stuff around that. Whatever. I mean, again, doesn't need to be believed. And then Mars, I think, is the third one. Now, interestingly, I mean, again, this is just coincidence probably. We do have three basic forms of humans on this planet right now. There's three basic forms or types of human that exist here. There's a Mongoloid, there's a Negroid, and there's a Caucasoid. There's three. Okay, and you may not like the words, but those are just the words that they gave years ago, right? Eons ago. But there are three very distinct differences amongst humans. So, interesting. And I'm sure at some point we're going to find out more about it. But I think this is a comment. I think it's a harbinger of change. If I'm wrong, I'll be happy to be wrong. I really will. I mean, that'll be great. That'll mean we've got like UFOs coming and like things are going to get really exciting, and that'll be cool. That'll be fantastic. But I'm almost sure I'm going to end up being right. This thing's going to come and go. And people will say, but it changed our solar system. All right, we can't prove that one way or the other. I do think things are changing already, and I think this is definitely a sign that we are experiencing that. There we go. I'm kind of on that soapbox. I apologize, but yeah, I think it's too important. There's so many people talking about it. Moldovan parliamentary election results have been announced. The pro-EU party seems to have gotten just barely over 50% of the vote. What a shock. The opposition had 49.8%, and they somehow managed to affect things in such a way that the party that probably is not is not popular right now because people cannot stand the EU. People can't stand what's happening in the EU, and Moldova was definitely learning this. So somehow they managed to just barely get 0.4% more people to support the destruction of free speech, free will, and any sort of semblance of a country. So made in Brussels. How did Moldova's elections, how they were engineered beyond its borders? There was all sorts of censorship that was happening. We have even found out from Telegram, their CEO drops bombshell claim about French intelligence offering him a secret deal. Telegram CEO Pavel Durov alleged that French intelligence services attempted to strong-arm him into censoring conservative Moldovan channels ahead of the critical parliamentary elections. Durov, who was arrested in Paris airport last year, claims in a now viral post on X that the pressure through French authorities while he was under judicial supervision in France. The Russian-born tech billionaire wrote that French authorities approached him through an intermediary roughly a year ago, demanding Telegram remove several Moldovan channels. While Telegram did take down some accounts that violated its policies, Durov alleged the plot thickened when the intermediary relayed a shady offer. French intelligence promised to put in a good word with the judge overseeing his case if he expanded the cooperation. Essentially, we'll get you out of your legal woes if you go ahead and shut down these conservative Moldovians' accounts. Well, he didn't do it. He didn't do it. So a whole lot of shenanigans seem to have been happening. And if it was anything like the elections we have here, you know they were going to great lengths. They probably stopped counting at specific times. I'm sure they did a lot of the same stuff. So here we are. Another country has fallen for now. I mean, again, what's going on in Europe is a mess. Ursula von der Leyen is very concerned because she is likely going to lose control. Swiss voters narrowly approved plan for electronic ID cards. Literally. Another thing. 50.4% voted in favor, 49.6% against. Nobody wants the ID cards. Or very few people want the ID cards. Anywhere. Same nonsense happening in England. This is bullshit. Bullshit. So this is Switzerland now. Switzerland, Moldova, probably France. Macron is hated right now. I think 15% approval rating, somewhere to that ascent, somewhere in that area. I think he's already had 3+ people in parliament just this year that continue to fail. And he doesn't want to have another election because he knows he can't win. Starmer hits record low in UK opinion poll. Only 13% of Britons approve of their prime minister's performance. Yeah, nobody likes what's going on over there. And I'm going to say Europe. I know England's technically not part of the European Union, but you certainly are still part of Europe, as far as we're concerned, I think, right? But the UK is pissed. And my buddy's been chatting me up quite a bit, and yeah, they're very, very angry. Nobody likes this ID card. They've got over 1 million signatures. I think I talked about that yesterday. I don't think I had that story up today. Over 1 million signatures already. It's pretty incredible. Despite warnings, Germany's Merz says billions in Russian assets can be tapped to force Putin to accept peace. We'll see. That would be illegal, pretty sure. If they stole Russian assets that don't belong to them just because we've got this neighbor that's at war with you that we want to make part of NATO, but they're not really part of NATO, but we're going to pretend they're part of NATO when it serves us, and we're going to steal that money and let them use it to rebuild Ukraine. Interesting idea. It's still probably very illegal. Again, what's going on with Russia? Don't know. We do have talks coming from Russia right now that Poland and Ukraine are working out. I guess Romania is going to be a part of it too. They're working out a false flag, and it's going to be a drone option. So they've got some of these Russian drones in Poland and Romania. They've somehow gotten a hold of some of these. Maybe they crashed. Maybe they just didn't land. Maybe they shot out the electronics in some way with a zap it, right? And zapper do. And it somehow, landed. And so they took them. And they could put new electronics in them and basically utilize them. So they're Russian drones. And then they're going to fly them in Poland and make it look like Russia is trying to attack Poland. We know they're going to do it. We know Poland's going to be the country that does it. Trump's going to know better. I know that. And that maybe is partially why we've got planes going out there, because we know things are about to escalate. Many are saying we're supposed to have that Cuban Missile Crisis moment. We definitely are heading towards one of those as well. I don't believe nuclear weapons will be allowed to be used on this planet. But maybe, I don't know, maybe in some small location they might. We couldn't, not full global. No way. That's just too many problems. It happens after, because of it. It's, I'm not trying to get off into the weird woo right now, but yeah, it's not going to be allowed. Zelensky's boasting that the Israeli Patriot system is now shielding Ukraine. There is an expectation that they're going to receive 2 more of them. They kind of made it sound like they haven't had any Patriot missile batteries yet. In fact, Israel's supposedly given them one that's 30 years old. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on, because I know Russia was hitting stuff, and I had understood that we had some Patriot batteries there, and then Russia was actually able to get a number of missiles in. We do think that we shot down one of the hypersonic missiles with the Patriot battery, but again, it would have to almost be coming right at it, really, because otherwise it's just going too fast. You wouldn't be able to catch up to it. The missiles are way too fast. I think these Patriot batteries, they're probably shooting at best around Mach 8, Mach 9, and you've got, vehicles coming in at Mach 10, Mach 14. It's just, stuff's moving way fast. So supposedly they're getting some Patriot batteries. Vance claims Russia's refused meetings with Trump. Moscow's also turned down trilateral talks with Washington and Kiev, according to U.S. Vice President. So, yeah, we're pissed kind of right now. So, unfortunately, what we have seen over the last couple weeks, the Russians have refused to sit down with any bilateral meetings with the Ukrainians. Said they have refused to sit down with any trilateral meetings where the president or some other member of the administration could sit down with the Russians and the Ukrainians. So, they're not doing anything. And of course, Kremlins are still saying, "Hey, Trump or Russia, Trump, he's welcome to come out here. We'd love to see him. We'd love to hang out, give him another soccer ball." But they just don't seem prepared yet to deal with the Zelensky stuff. And again, I think Zelensky's the problem, frankly. But I know from an optics standpoint, there's not enough of us that feel that way. And maybe I'm, totally in the minority there by far, even amongst my audience. But again, Zelensky is a tyrant. He is holding back elections. He's been getting over $100 million a month from what we hear, or at least $50 million a month. We've been hearing all sorts of crazy numbers. Dude supposedly bought 2 yachts. So whatever. He's definitely capitalizing on this, and he doesn't want to give it up. And Europe doesn't either because there's so much money that's traveling through their hands and they're getting tax money and they're stealing money and all sorts of stuff. And Trump's like, we just aren't paying anymore. We're done with it. You guys want to buy weapons from us? Cool. Not? All right. J.D. Vance says U.S. is considering selling long-range Tomahawk missiles for Ukraine. Like, all right, we'll let you buy some. We'll let you buy some. Go ahead, NATO. Get ready to write some big, fat checks, and we'll give you some Tomahawks. I'd be curious to see how they would do against Russia. Russia's got a pretty decent anti-aircraft system. Tomahawks fly very, very nap of the earth, very low to the ground, and are very hard to see. I hope they're good. We'll see. I don't know. We'll find out. But this is, I think, Trump's way of ratcheting it up. It's like, look, Putin, if you want to keep this war going, we are going to come in and we're going to let them have some crazy shit and just see. We'll see what they do. I don't know. We'll see if they can blow up Moscow. You guys have done a bunch of damage. We'll see what they can do to you. Right? Secret Service, I guess one of their trucks or SUVs caught fire near the White House on Monday. I don't know. It started in the back seat. Not sure if it was a battery. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what the hell it was. I don't think they actually showed any smoke. But yeah, nobody got hurt. Caused some traffic problems, but whatever. Thought I'd bring it up. Seemed like it was worthy of news. IDF controls over half of Gaza City less than 2 weeks into the offensive. See, Putin, that's how you do that. All right? That's how you do that, buddy. So yeah, this is getting crazy. Trump is talking about his 21-point plan for ending Gaza war. It's been revealed for the first time. I don't want to read them all, though. That's like a lot, right? There's 21 points, though. Gaza de-radicalized. Gaza's going to be redeveloped. If Israel Hamas agree to a proposal, the war will immediately end. Within 48 hours of Israel publicly accepting the deal, all living and deceased hostages will be returned. Once the hostages are returned, Israel will free several hundred Palestinian security prisoners. Once hostages are returned, Hamas members who commit to peaceful coexistence will be granted amnesty. Once this agreement is reached, aid will surge to the Strip. They're saying 600 trucks a day. Aid will be distributed without interference from either side. The United Nations and the Red Crescent, along with other international organizations not associated with Israel or Hamas. Gaza is going to be administered by a temporary transitional government of Palestinian technocrats who will be responsible for providing day-to-day services for the people of the Strip. Economic plans are going to be created to rebuild Gaza. An economic zone will be established to reduce tariffs and access rates and stuff. No one's going to be forced to leave. Hamas will have no role in Gaza's governance whatsoever. Security, which they're not okay with. Hamas isn't, but nobody cares what Hamas thinks. A security guarantee is going to be provided by regional partners to ensure that Hamas and other Gaza factions comply. The U.S. will work with Arab and other international partners to develop a temporary international stabilization force. Israel will not occupy or annex Gaza. If Hamas delays or rejects the proposal, the above points will proceed in terror-free areas, which the IDF will gradually hand over to the International Stabilization Force. Israel agrees not to carry out future strikes in Qatar, and they actually had a phone call and apologized for that. The U.S. and international community acknowledged Doha's important mediating role in the Gaza conflict. A process to establish and de-radicalize the population is going to be in place. When Gaza redevelopment has advanced and the PA reform program has been implemented, the conditions may be in place for a credible pathway to a Palestinian statehood. This is Trump's plan. So there is Palestinian statehood being talked about. We got to get Gaza, we got to get Hamas out of there. We got to make it safe. We got to rebuild. We got to make it safe again and stop these wars. And the U.S. will establish a dialogue between Israel and the Palestinians to agree on a political horizon for peaceful coexistence. Netanyahu does signal amnesty for the Hamas and actually basically acknowledges that, yeah, Trump's got this 21-point idea. We're on board with that, which is kind of a shock, frankly. So that's cool. We also have, I believe, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu apologized by phone. So Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu got on a phone call with the Qatari Prime Minister Sheikh Mohammed Al Thani for Israel's September 9th strike in Doha. They're putting an end to that. Isn't it interesting that Charlie Kirk died on the 10th? They attacked Doha on the 9th, and then the 11th obviously happens the day after. It's very interesting. Anyway, call was placed from the White House, so they chit-chatted. That's cool. What's behind Microsoft's drastic move to cancel services to Israeli intelligence? They were supposedly using it to keep a bunch of data on their Palestinians, the people they're at war with. This apparently violates the company terms of service for Microsoft's Azure cloud platform. So, yeah, they basically have shut down Israel's government from being able to use them. Kind of interesting in the big picture. And I think finally, Turkey, which has sponsored pro-Hamas flotillas for more than a decade, they rescued a ship in Greta Thunberg's flotilla Monday after a leak in its engine room had been found, caused it to break down, and they issued a distress signal. So they were all able to deboat, and Turkey came to the rescue. I think it was Spain and Turkey were the two countries. I talked about that yesterday. All said, lots happening in the world. I thought this would be a shorter show than it is. Holy crap. All said. A lot is happening in the world. We are at a major turning point. We are about to go through the dark night of the soul. I would say probably by the end of this year, we should have seen a lot of what we've expected to see. Now, again, I don't mean it's going to play out exactly like the Q posts have said, I mean, they might, but I think it's going to play out, and we're going to know we're in it. I think it's going to play out how it plays out. I don't think it's going to play out exactly the way we've been told. 10 days of darkness would actually be scary. A lot of panic would happen. A lot of horrible things would happen at nighttime like this. A lot of people, I think, want that to happen only because they think the Q post said it, and that means if that happens, then cool. But that would be a nightmare scenario to live through, by the way. So, 3 days of darkness, that'd be still really bad. One night of darkness, criminals are going to go crazy. Crazy. So again, I don't know if I buy into all the, this is how we want it to happen this way because the Q post said it should. And it's like, I don't know. Just like a lot of people wanted a war against the Gog and Magog because then it would indicate that Christ was coming. But I don't think that's necessarily the right way to get God to come back by killing a bunch of people. It doesn't really seem like, at least the New Testament God, like he's all about that. Old Testament God, hell yeah, he'd be all about that. New Testament God? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think Jesus would be cool with that. All said. Crazy world. And again, we're going to go through this, and it's going to experience, it'll be an individual experience for each and every one of us. Depending, I think, on what we've put out there and who we've been as people is going to determine on where we are in proximity to this. And my prayers go out to everybody, even crazy people on the other side of the fence. I wish everybody well through this, but we are going to go through a tough time. The deep state's going to push very hard to get some sort of war going, one way or the other. Don't get caught in the middle of it, guys. Don't be part of the problem. Don't be one of these people that goes out and does horrible stuff because you somehow think that's going to fix the problem. No, it just makes it look worse for us. So it's time to bring the best you have forward. Be the best version of you. Be the best version of the highest vision you have ever held about yourself. Neil Donald Walsh. Beautiful quote. I love you guys. Where we go one, we go all. It's on the Fringe with Dan RadioStyle.